So we're back, of course, talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth. We have several important bits of info today coming from PlayStation Game Size. I mean, it's obviously in their name, but they're an account that tweets out the size of games, the download size or whatever. But we have like the exact size of Rebirth, which you already knew is 2 discs, about 150 gigabytes, but we have the exact actual size. The preload date for the game, but also something to look forward to with like state of play, like maybe confirmation that the demo will be like announced or revealed there, but also that there's going to be like an unlock item you get for playing the demo. So let's hop into it. So first we'll look at the download size and preload date tweet that says Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, download size 145 gigabytes, 250 megabytes, version 1, whatever, standard edition, preload February 27th, midnight, release February 29th, midnight. So again, we kind of already knew the size of the game. We were told at some point, maybe in an interview or some shit, that it was like 150 gigabytes. But now you know the exact size. If you need to make space on your console now, you kind of know how much you got to delete. I think I'll probably have to delete at least like one game on my PS5 to make room because it's a big-ass download. But speaking of that, we now have the preload date, which is February 27th, about 2 days or so before the game's going to drop. So if you want to say that real quick, they do say the midnight on the 27th. So if that's very literal, then it should be like, when it's 11:59 on the 26th, as soon as it rolls over to midnight, the 27th, we should be able to preload the game, which gives you a good solid amount of time to preload it in case you don't have like the best internet. The ability to preload is one of the benefits to buying a game digitally, obviously, because we have a few days to install it, and then like as soon as it hits midnight on the 29th, we can just like hop right into it, right? Which is kind of nice. Whereas if you buy it physically, you're going to have to either go out and buy it or wait for it to come in the mail, then you have to install the disc, and then you have to download the update, and then you can play it, right? Which is fine if you have like really good internet or whatever, but still, like we can just hop right into it if we buy it digitally, which is pretty cool. Anyways, on to the demo-related tweet and the unlock item, and they quote-tweeted the PlayStation tweet about the Rebirth-centric state of play that's coming up, which is why we think that maybe the demo will be at least announced or revealed here, or maybe even released at or after the state of play. But they say, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo, players will earn the in-game item Kupo Charm Survival Set. Now, what that item is, I have no idea, because there's not a Kupo Charm anything when it comes to Remake. There was the Moogle's Amulet, which you can get from, I think, like the Corneo Coliseum or something along those lines. And then there's only the Crescent Moon Charm when it comes to accessories and stuff in Remake. So there's really nothing to base this off of. There's also like the Survival Vest, but there's not a Survival Set item, right? So it has like implications of a bunch of different items potentially, but nothing directly that sounds like it. If we just want to look towards those items that I mentioned, like the Moogle's Amulet in Remake made it to where enemies dropped items more frequently. The Crescent Moon Charm made it to where like your non-controlled characters, like the AI characters, took less damage, and like the Survival Vest made it to where like you had more vitality. That's kind of it. So maybe somewhere amongst all that, we could like come up with an effect for this thing. Also not sure what the name, if it implies that it's multiple items, because it's called Kupo Charm Survival Set. Like, is that a set of survival items, or is that like a subname for the item, like Kupo Charm Survival Set, and maybe there's another Kupo Charm that's in the game with a different like subtitle, subname, or whatever. I don't know. We don't really know anything about it right now, obviously. Big question that people have, or maybe like a want, I guess, is save transfer when it comes to the demo. But the problem with that is it depends on what this demo is, right? If this demo is like just the Calm Flashback one that we have, or just the Under Junon kind of area one, or maybe both of them, that's not like a save transfer thing, right? Because we're not even playing the full Calm Flashback. Now, if by chance this public demo that is going to drop would maybe be the first full chapter, kind of like they did with Remake, right? Maybe there's a chance there could be save transfer there. Like what they did with 16, right? We got to play the demo and then it carried over to the full game, right? And you get to progress from the end of the demo with the full game. Problem is they didn't do that with Remake, right? You got to play the first full chapter, except for like a little bit of stuff missing. There was like the Tifa Cloud, like childhood flashback thing. That wasn't in the actual demo, but regardless, it was still like the full first, bombing mission or whatever. But it didn't carry over. You had to replay that whenever you played Remake. So there's already a precedent set of there not being save transfer with like, you have to have like a save file for like integrated intermission, and you get like some summons from Remake, but you don't get to carry like shit over really from Remake, right? So there's already this precedent with the Remake project of there not really being actual save transfer, but they could do something different maybe. Also, I think it'd be kind of cool if they did do like the first like chapter, right? Or if the first chapter is all the Calm Flashback or whatever. I think that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, we already know what the Calm Flashback demo is that we have. We already have like the Under Junon demo. We have like the Tokyo Game Show. Like all that's cool, and I would love to play all that, but we've seen it all, right? So it'd be nice to have something kind of new with this public demo if they want to go that route. And it'd be nice if it also carried over, but probably won't. I say that only because like we see this item as like a reward for playing the demo, right? Like it's going to read that you played the demo, like a save file for the demo or whatever, and it's going to give you that item. Very similar to the summons that we're seeing by having like a save file for Remake, right? So it's probably just going to be like that, but they could surprise us, but I don't expect a lot of surprises from Square Enix. In which we did get a little update as I was recording where he replied to the demo tweet and said titled ID for transferring, so save transfer. But again, this is most likely just going to check that you play the demo to give you the item sort of thing, right? Not an actual like progression transfer, like that you play the demo so you get to start from chapter 2 or whatever. But there was a little reply exchange underneath this that I wanted to read as well. So this person replied and said, since we'll probably get the same demo that's been at other venues, I assume it's possible save transfer doesn't necessarily mean progress transfer. Like we'll just have a demo save that gets us the item. Because if it's the same demo, then progress transfer doesn't make sense. And they replied saying, I know some things about demo content, but I'm not sure about it. So right there, kind of what I was already saying, but I wanted to kind of touch on the fact that they know a little bit about the demo content, which is something we got to kind of worry about here, because this is what happened with Remake, right? With Remake, like people noticed on the back end that the demo was uploaded to the PlayStation Network. People were able to get in there somehow and download the demo and then play the full demo, but also because the demo had like actual game files, they're able to like hack into the game and like look at shit like from like the story and character models and all kinds of stuff like we seen like Red 13, right? Who's towards the end of the game. Like that shit leaked back then. And it's kind of a problem here with them uploading the demo to the PlayStation Network whenever that happens. If people are able to do that somehow, which I don't know shit about that. We talk about it a lot on the channel, but every time I try to reiterate, I don't know shit about it. How you even do that shit. But it's possible, maybe, that people could like get the demo early or get into the game files and all that shit. And there's a possibility of like things being like spoiled and leaked. And the things when it comes to this channel, we'll talk about stuff like that. I'll try to be as vague as possible with like titles and thumbnails. And obviously there'll be spoiler warnings and stuff like that. And I can't even show anything anyways if shit leaks. But that's just what we do with the channel here. We just kind of cover everything that we can in terms of the game and the Remake project, right? We covered the leaked demo back then in like 2019, 2020 or whatever. So if anything comes out, we'll probably discuss it in some capacity, but I'll try to be as spoiler free as I can. The point of that like long-winded segment there was to let you guys know, like to kind of keep your head on a swivel and maybe try to be as little on social media as you can in kind of the foreseeable future, but especially after the demo comes out, just in case. Like the person that does this Twitter account, like I don't know exactly what it is they're looking at or how they get their information, but they're already aware of demo content, and that's without like getting into the demo and like getting into the files of the game and all that other shit, right? They're able to like be aware of demo content just by whatever it is they look at. So it's just possible things could leak, and if you don't want that shit spoiled for you, we're already in the month of February. It's just probably best to like avoid social media. And if that means you guys want to like avoid my channel for like the next like month and a half, 2 months, whatever, like it's understandable. We're obviously going to cover like the final trailer. I know a lot of people want to avoid the final trailer as well, but obviously I got to talk about it here on the channel. And depending on if and when and what is leaked, if anything at all, we might talk about it. Just kind of depends on what it is exactly, right? I'm not going to like make a video like, here's the fucking ending of the game and here's who dies, right? We're not going to do a video like that, but it just depends on what it is, right? I don't know. That kind of content mostly for me because like spoiler type shit doesn't really bother me too much, but also for the people that want to know shit, like there was kind of some people that are like anticipating and don't want to wait, they just want to learn stuff or whatever. Like it's something I've done on the channel forever. Like we'll also look at like the trophies when that leaks, right? That's something I've done on the channel for as long as I can remember for any game that I've covered. Like at some point we'll know what the trophies are for Rebirth, and I'll do a video talking about that. Just it's something I've always done on the channel. We've always covered leaks on any game that I've covered, right? So it's not anything that's new for Rebirth. It's just something I've always done. We're kind of all over the place here at the end of the video, but I want to get that discussion out there. It's an important discussion to have because there's a possibility of like big stuff leaking from this demo coming out whenever the demo comes out. And it's just one of those things that I know people want to avoid because a lot of people want to go into Rebirth fresh. I'm trying to get like all that out the way, that discussion out there just to kind of let everybody know what's going on with the channel, but also what might be out there in the fucking ethos, right? On Reddit and Twitter and stuff like that if things start leaking. So just probably best to avoid social media till the game comes out, obviously. Really quickly too, before we wrap it up, there might be more like updates coming from this Twitter account that about the demo or whatever else potentially, because they're kind of updating as they go, right? That we might talk about like tomorrow, depending if there's anything worth talking about. Anyways, that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter @DavidYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.